back on the phone. No one really wanted to get them today. Oh, hey, Sean. Hey.
A bit more clout.
He literally brought a whole rice pot.
I don't think I should be drinking caffeine.
I like having a booth right next to Goozee Pins. No, it's not a tampon. Thank you for enrolling in the class. I'm Professor Zoo here. Freaking outrageous. Not a lot of sales so far compared to the past. But we're gonna track this week what sells and how many things sell, so I can give you guys a overview of what it's like to sell for 5 days straight here at UC San Diego. The College Vendor Fair happens quarterly. They have 3 quarters during the school year: fall, winter, and spring. And it happens for 5 days outdoors on the library walk, which is a center of the campus. You have Geisel Library, which is the heart of the campus, and then the library walk is a straight segment that leads all the way to the buses and all the way to the medical side of the campus. Tons of vendors here. They're all in a line, so sometimes not everyone's gonna get seen unless all the students are walking down. If they're walking straight to their class, they might only see part of the fair. But for us, we're kind of in the center, so most people will end up walking by. It's just that the foot traffic, although steady, not everyone there is intending to shop like it's a flea market. Because at some events, you know, people are there to shop. Here, people are just walking by. If something catches their eye, they'll get something. I know most of the events I go to, like anime conventions and outdoor night markets, they're usually Friday through Sunday, so just the weekend. But this one is during the full week, Monday through Friday, and it is pretty much like a regular job, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we're gonna track how each day goes and compare how it fluctuates between the days. Obviously, we expect that Monday is going to be the best day. Most people, they're excited about the fair coming back, and Friday is the slowest because people tend to leave home for the weekend. And there is a general trend. Class increments on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are every 60 minutes, and then the ones on Tuesdays and Thursdays are every 90 minutes. So you'll get waves of people. Tuesday, Thursday, it'll be a little slower. So you'll have less floods, less waves of people. Those tend to be slower days, but some things can change. I've had a Tuesday be better than a Monday. I've had a Thursday be better than a Wednesday, and I've also had a Friday be better than a couple of the other days. So, you know, you never really know what can happen. Right now, it is currently 11:51 a.m. A little bit in the morning, ready to hit noon, lunchtime, and we've only had 23 sales so far. Pretty small compared to what I'm used to, but that's not anything to be surprised at. It is the spring vendor fair, and of all 3 of them, spring does tend to be the slowest because a lot of the students, you know, during the academic year, they've already seen a lot of the vendors or they've already made their purchases in fall and winter. So a lot of the times they won't return unless you have some new items for sale. I still do expect to make a decent amount this week, but we'll see. We're back on the phone. Haha. I'm using the lav mic that Sid gave me a while back at Anime Night Mart. And hopefully it's clear enough for people to hear. I had the old Rode mic wireless go-to microphones. I used to use these back before I got the Osmo Pocket. Plug this in, which is the receiver that goes straight into your phone. You have to have a very specific wire from Rode in order for it to capture the audio. You can't just use any lightning cable to Type-C. And then they give you 2 wireless microphones. So if you speak into it, it is actually really clear audio. Thing is, I don't really use these anymore since the Osmo Pocket does provide you with their own wireless Bluetooth microphones. But these can be used for Twitch streams plugged into my laptop. Also, my hand is a little bit messy because my ink spilled from my printer last night. And I've had that printer since college for about 2 years, but it decided to blow up and start spilling ink everywhere, all on my carpet. And I thought it could be salvageable. I thought I could, you know, clean up the ink spill and maybe sell the printer eventually, but I got too stressed. I was prepping for this event. UCSD is a week long. I know I'm gonna be out here for a full week, so I decided to throw away my printer. It's tragic. I just took it down in a cardboard box to the dumpster and just chucked it inside. RP printer 2022 to 2025. Made it 3 good years and printed thousands of papers, thousands of sticker sheets. I get why it betrayed me. A little sad about it. That's okay. I'm gonna use my iPad as a mirror. This is what it looks like. The phone is on a tripod. I've never really used the tripod for this before. There's a separate attachment just for the Osmo Pocket. It's literally a screw-on at the top right here. And then the phone just hangs on the top. There is a separate attachment I added. Never used it before, but now I get the chance to. Not sure how the phone quality looks, but hopefully it's okay. I know like usually the higher tech cameras, they blur out the background a little bit. This is the back of the booth. We have all my friends helping me out. Hallie, Ileana, Sean, he's about to leave. He's going to class. Bye, Sean. And then Justin. So as per usual, my table neighbors here at the event is Goozee Pins, and they're $1 vinyl stickers. And a lot of people flock to their booth because, you know, as college students, you're like, $1 sticker, so cheap. And you just head straight to the booth because I know I would. If I was in college, I would be beeline straight to the $1 stickers. Not trying to spend a lot of money, and I'm trying to get something good. Even though they're right next to us, I used to compete by having my stickers priced at $1 too. I was definitely underselling myself. You know, it's market for college events, but it's not market for anime conventions. I would probably have it at $2, $3, maybe even $4 for some of the stickers. A little rough in sales right now, mainly for the stickers too, because I did price them up. I have seen a lot less people purchase the stickers. The past 5 vendor fairs I've done at UCSD, it's been $1. Had a lot less sales because of that. Some people would argue $2 is still priced really low, which is, but it's a step up for my booth. And since I have so many sticker designs, at least my philosophy towards sales is, even though I'm making the art, it's still fan art. I'm still making art of other people's IPs, but I might change it in the future. I might up it even more, I don't know. Some people would say $2 is really low. I think it's fair. It is 117. Shout out to Hallie for showing the time right now. We just had our first enamel pin sale. I thought it would have happened sooner, but it's been pretty slow so far this week. Compared to the past vendor fairs, it is rather slow, I'll admit. Compared to my expectations, I don't think we're actually gonna meet them this week. I feel like when I'm recording on my phone, I have no idea what I'm saying. I'm just like lost my ability to vlog entirely. But we're coming up on my booth. I don't really have an entrance, so I've been walking through my sticker panels here. Literally just caught Hallie mid-yawn. And there's Sean, he came back earlier today. Sean brought some Red Bull for us to drink. There's a Target that's on campus, so it's super convenient. I was gonna go get popcorn chicken. Do you guys want that? Yeah, so in the back here, I'll show you guys a little tour of the back. I built this little section here for storage, these grid cubes. I had a little extra bit of them, and then I used the rest of the grid cubes to display the sticker sheets in the front, little storage on the side over here, and then this segment that's extended out over here to display the print. And because I don't like being exposed in front of people, I just used my drapes and covered up the back of the booth so that we're all enclosed. Had like a little den over here. We have a couple hours left of the event. It's 2:30ish, and there's been about 56 sales today. Not as much as I'd hoped, but maybe there will be more tomorrow or other days of the week. Delivery!
Thank you!
Yeah, the way my booth looks with these walls and then the front, it kind of makes it look like it's not an artist booth. It looks like another flea market reseller booth to an extent, beside the fact that my banner says stickerzoodesigns. A lot of people will come up and ask if it is my original art, and they'll be surprised. It is something that I'm trying to be more aware of and trying to design the booth in a way that people do acknowledge it as an artist booth and are willing to support and are understanding why certain prices are the way they are, because some people are like, oh my god, $2 for a sticker, that's freaking outrageous compared to what they expect at a college vendor market, you know? If you're just looking at the front over here, right, mint green and everything, I'm like, oh, it kind of does look like an artist booth. We have some of the mini prints down here, which actually didn't really sell today. I don't know why. I feel like the mini prints usually do really well, but for whatever reason, no one really wanted to get them today. Maybe the keychains detract too much from them, because I was looking at the spreadsheet and the mini prints, there was barely any sales for them. The one thing about this event, even though I'm utilizing all 3 sides, is the fact that when you're walking by, the front is mainly what you see. You don't really get a chance to take a look at the sides over here. Like, even though I'm able to utilize it, it's not as efficient for converting sales. We had about 5 print sales today, large ones, none of the small ones, which is a little unfortunate. Again, usually people do buy more of those, especially because people are trying to decorate their dorms. We had about 45 keychain sales today, 7 enamel pins, and 8 sticker sheets. Nothing crazy. Honestly, a relatively slow day compared to what I'm used to. Can't be disappointed, but it is not what I hoped for. My expectation was a couple hundred more. We have to close up a little bit, so I do have to condense down the booth just a tad so I can fit everything inside the canopy. Those are the stats for day 1. We'll see what it looks like for the other days. Not expecting it to fluctuate too much, but ideally, if the numbers do stay consistent throughout the week, I wouldn't be dissatisfied. Maybe we can change a few things on how the booth is displayed so that it can convert some more sales. We can try to adjust some things for the other days to see how it might affect the sales. In the past, I've done that before, where the keychain boards were a little further back and all I did was move it forward more as people were walking by. They're more likely to spot it and buy something they like. Welcome to day 2. This is a little weird. We're in outfits that are a little more strange. And we also brought a karaoke machine for the speaker, of course, because we didn't have any other way to play music. I mean, we could, but Sean decided to bring the whole karaoke out here. Joined by Adam and Tram. It's a little slow so far today. It's currently 11:32. I don't know if you guys can see. We have about 5 sales. We got here a little later. We got here at 10. Yesterday's first sale was at 10:04. Today's was at 10:21. So it appears that even if you show up around 9, you probably might not get as many sales as you would anticipate. My expectations for today is definitely going to be a little worse than yesterday's numbers. I'll update you guys a little later. We're getting lunch in a bit. Hallie just grabbed us our lunch from Flavorful, which is another great option at Price Center for UCSD. Again, their food options here on campus are absolutely amazing. We don't have to go off campus for food. It honestly is much better than a convention. Con food is kind of mid sometimes. These prices are relatively decent because they're for college students. I got a poke bowl. I get this every time, at least once during the week, because it is very, very delicious. Sean got a different option though. The place called Flavorful it does offer a lot of different variety of food. So what he got was surf and turf fries. Mine is a poke bowl. It was a pretty mediocre day. We actually did better today, Tuesday, than we did yesterday on Monday. So we had a total of 56 keychains sold, and then we also had 8 sticker sheets, arbitrary number of stickers because it was way too hard to count that. I could probably do it at the very end. 4 mini prints, which is a little disappointing. I have no idea sometimes why my mini prints are not selling. Maybe it's because the keychains are too overpowering, but we also had 18 enamel pins sold, which is really amazing. It's more than I thought that would sell, but very satisfied with that, I'll be honest. Other than that, that's pretty much the update for Tuesday. 18 enamel pins, it's pretty good. Most of them were the Geisel raccoon. Slow foot traffic, we only did probably like $100 better today than we did yesterday, so it wasn't huge, but still below my expectations. Not bad for a Tuesday. We can only hope for the same on Wednesday. Oh, hey, Sean.
Hey.
Yes, it's the end of day 2. We didn't record today. So I've been really busy and I was supposed to upload a video, so I was busy editing. Anyway, we have a lot of people waiting for the show because I'm supposed to be dumping water on myself. So.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Who would do such a thing? Oh my god! I don't know who that actor was, guys.
Welcome back to the 3rd day we're here at UCSD. It's the middle of the week. Expectations today? I hope that it is around the same as Monday or Tuesday. Usually those first 3 days are the best ones, and then Thursday and Friday slows down a lot more. We got here around the same time, a little earlier than the last 2 days. Technically Monday we started around 10. And our first sales here today were actually a little before 10, I believe. The first sale was at 9:46 a.m., so a little before. We showed up a little earlier to open up. Our average order value is around $13 with 7 sales here in the morning. Can't complain. We're a little energized with the Red Bull. Pretty much having this daily. Throat felt a little itchy because we went to a Grant Perez concert last night, and the air in the room was really icky. There's a lot of people in there. The vibes were good though, very great performance, and I'll give you guys an update later on in the day. I wanted to talk about what the last show in fall compares to the spring for you, and then also how Monday and Tuesday have added up so far relative to each other, and then relative to like the last time you were here in the fall, and what you expect for the remainder of the last 3 days. Yeah.
So much slower compared to the fall one.
Yeah.
Like the fall one is what I would expect typically from like an outdoor vendor fair. So I was pretty satisfied with like fall numbers in terms of performance, but this one is like significantly slower. Really slow. At least like for me personally, I think I'm at like half of what I made every day.
Oh my god.
Compared
Same.
to fall, or a bit even below half of
yeah.
what I made per day, and then probably just projected in total.
I am doing better than last spring of 2024. The reason is just because I have more merchandise, more inventory, a little more, I was gonna say stage presence.
Oh, well,
like
yeah.
just scene presence, I guess, show presence.
A bit more clout.
A bit more clout.
Oh, how far we've fallen. But
I'm not dissatisfied, it's just I had different expectations, I suppose.
this is why we're not allowed to have any expectations going into anything. But like you can't help it, especially if you've had previous experience at the event before. Your expectation is, oh, I'm gonna perform average, like around the same as last time. And then you don't, and then you're like, oh.
Yeah. Then you become disappointed. You're like, do I even do this again? I would do this again because fall is really good for me.
Yeah, I would also do it again just because I'm local.
Yes.
And so it's like slow and I'm sitting here withering away. If I'm not here, then I'm making $0. If I'm here, even if I'm making less than what I had hoped for, at least I'm making some dollars.
Doing commissions for people.
Yeah, potentially. I brought some paper today. It's just little index cards and then I draw on the...
Mini commissions.
Yeah.
Just imagine, little stick figure, not stick
Not
figure.
a stick figure.
But like
really, really botched chibis.
Yeah, a drawn by ID version of what you might want yourself to look like.
Yep.
No render, just
gigantic ears, you know, like not anatomically on this, really off, but it's a stylized choice.
I would hope they don't have autonomy.
It's like, well, what are they up to after dark when everyone leaves?
Yesterday was slightly better for me
Oh,
than
really?
Monday.
Yesterday was like much worse than Monday for me. I made less than half of Monday's amount. It was bad.
What?
Yeah, I feel like also like in fall, because of the placement of my booth, traffic was already pretty slow, but then now I'm pushed back even more towards the end.
Are you?
And traffic is even worse now. The only traffic I get is when the people come in from the bus or when lecture from Center Hall comes out. And that's like the only time people are passing by here.
What have been selling?
Say it's still mostly like a single charm or like a single sticker or like
Yes!
a single art print.
There's no one like
Single
that is
sticker
willing to
sheet.
get hundreds worth or like whatnot.
But I feel like I expect that though, like
Yeah.
coming into college type of events, like if I was a college student, I do not have
No.
like $100 to drop
Yeah.
on a single table. So it's been like single purchases. So like ranges from like a single sticker for like $5 to like a single pin for like 14 or so. Yeah, just one thing.
Guess we'll see on Thursday and Friday what days are stay
Fall,
the same.
Monday was the best for me, and then it kind of just like was a
Same.
gradual downhill. And so I'm expecting the same, which would be very sad though,
Yeah.
numbers wise.
Like,
Woo!
disappointed more and more throughout the week.
Shingy boy.
We'll come back and visit another time.
I
at
don't even
the
think you
Drawn
can
by
see
ID
him.
booth, but I can't tell. But
Bye, Zookies.
we're a little bit into the day, about noontime. We don't really have any lunch planned right now, but Justin did stop by to actually give us something. There's about like 30-something sales. Average order value slightly went down. A couple of people were buying just a couple stickers, so it's about $13. But we did just have back-to-back 4 enamel pins sold, so they're all technically of the Geyser raccoon. I think one of them was an anteater. We have a customer right now, so let me go ahead and do that. This little station back here, Justin brought some food. Big shout out.
Hello.
He literally brought a whole rice pot, and there's the sinigang.
They said they wanted Filipino food, so I had to go make some.
Yeah, we were talking about Filipino food, and he literally went home, prepped everything. We didn't have lunch plans, but Justin literally brought us lunch. I'm so grateful.
Gotta feed the artists, guys. Always feed the artists.
Yeah, even Julie's here. She's curious.
I've never had homemade.
No, neither have
Insane. I'm still technically in my suit, but it got really cold towards the latter half of the day as the sun set. So I'm wearing my hoodie now because I don't want to freeze. My health is feeling a little at risk, I'm not gonna lie. Update for Wednesday today. Added up all the numbers, and surprisingly, Wednesday today, we are doing the best. But to be fair, we have stayed a couple extra minutes past 5. Obviously with the hours fluctuating a little bit, showing up a little earlier, making some of the early sales and whatnot. It is going to add and make some changes to that, but it is very, 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 very marginally better than yesterday, Tuesday. So it has actually been going on a slight incline. It doesn't feel that way during the day though. I'm like, oh my God, it's not gonna be good. But surprisingly, today was actually the best of the 3 days. Earlier, it seemed like it was just gonna be about the same as Monday. So on Monday, we had 87 total sales, and then today, we actually had 94 total sales. Albeit the average order value is only slightly higher with $12.92 on Monday, and today's being $13.38. We had a lot less sales on Tuesday, and surprisingly that number was still very close to today's, but it is because of the higher average order value, mainly due to one customer who bought $105 worth. They spent that much on the keychains. Most of my average orders values for events do tend to be ranging from $10 to $15 because of my lower price point, and especially at the college fairs. Most people tend to get $2 stickers, a couple extra things, and then, you know, it all averages out to be just under 15. Ideally, it'd be a little higher, but it is what it is. In terms of the inventory and what's sold, We had 4 sticker sheets, very minimal, sold today. And then keychains, a little less, 49 of them. And actually a couple more prints ended up going out today. So we had 6 of the large ones and then 6 of the small ones. And then we had 14 enamel pins sold. So a little less than yesterday, but still a pretty good amount. There were a couple people that wanted the raccoon enamel pin. Most of the keychain sales, they were individual keychains, maybe a few people getting 2. Very seldom people getting 3 keychains for the large deal, but it all added up to 49, which is a decent number. Again, compared to some other events where people will buy over 100 keychains throughout the day, 49 is actually very sparse. And 14 enamel pins though, for the only 4 designs that I do have, is actually a pretty good number. So in my opinion, as long as I make more enamel pins in the future, probably once these tariffs settle down, we can probably move a couple more numbers, especially with the enamel pins. People do seem to be a fan of them, especially because they're designated for each school. And surprisingly, you know, I'm selling the enamel pins at $15. That was a mistake. They were supposed to be $13. Initially, but then people ended up buying them at $15, and I feel like they are kind of valued at $15. I'm making curated designs for each of the schools, turning them into these enamel pins, and even though they're a little smaller, 2 inches, people are still getting them. They're still supporting, and I really do appreciate that. So we're going to keep them at 15 for the enamel pins, but hopefully we can add more to the catalog. Other than that, that's today's summary. We'll add it into the spreadsheet so that we can analyze it at the end of the week on Friday and compare all the numbers throughout the week. And I'll see you guys in a little bit. Sean, how are you feeling?
Pretty tired right now. I don't think I should be drinking caffeine. Red Bull tastes good. I don't think Red Bull feels good.
Sean's been doing a lot of good work today. He had a couple classes. Actually, he only had 1 class, but he is very tired and probably a little hungry. So we are excited to go get some food. Shout out to Sean. What do you guys have to say today?
Keep supporting Henry.
Give Henry emotion. Give Henry money.
Yeah, when we keep the booth open this late, sometimes there are a couple of people that are still browsing because we haven't said, oh, we're actually closing. We are actually going to close up now, move some of the things, consolidate in. We're going to go do that, get dinner, because we had made a reservation, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's clips. In the meantime, as Goozee Pins packs up on Thursday, we are going to end up having an empty table next to us on our side. They have Level Up Expo this weekend in Vegas, so they are packing up today on Thursday. We have 1 more day ahead of us. I didn't really vlog out in the morning because I wasn't really feeling well. Started catching a little bit of a sickness, so that's why I'm wearing a mask. Not the greatest situation to be sick right now, especially during shows. I feel like when you're one person, when you're running a business and you get sick, and you're at the center of your art business, nothing can get done. You're the main bottleneck of your own business, and that's why your health is so important. I try my best to maintain my own health, you know, going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, regular fitness, eating healthy, all the above. And sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes you can still catch a sickness. Doesn't have to deal with your overall health, could just be something with your immune system. And I think that's what happened. I haven't really been getting that much sleep, at least good quality sleep. I'm alive, just not feeling that well, so I didn't really record a lot today. You've got to make sure that you're in tip-top condition, especially when you're doing shows, because if you're not feeling good during the day, if you're not drinking enough water, if you aren't interacting with the customers with high enough energy, it's gonna affect everything, not just your sales, just your overall mood towards the event. Thursdays have been okay. We have our periods where, you know, it picks up a lot during the show, especially in the afternoon, especially during lunchtime. But in the morning, man, it is slow. I actually wasn't even working the booth much today. Shout out to Ileana, Hallie, and Sean. They're holding it down. They're the reason everything actually ran today. So without them, no sales would have been made. We got here a lot later. I tried to sleep in a little bit and ended up showing up around 10. Opened up the booth around 10:30 for a sale, probably at like 10:40. About 6 hours of sales, so it was the slowest day. Even if we were here for another hour, it probably would have only matched Monday very, very sparsely. Wouldn't have been that much greater, but we did get a little bit done. Sean and I were coding in the back. We were trying to optimize the inventory spreadsheet, and we do have it down to almost the science now. A couple of things to tweak out and fix for our upcoming events, but we'll work on it, and eventually I'll show you guys the spreadsheet. Hopefully have it up as something that I can share with you guys, keeping track of your orders and everything during con. Got a few folks in the back here. We have Gavin and Hallie and Trent. They've been grinding on their homework and assignments and everything else in between.
I was barely here.
I took it back earlier. Hallie didn't do much. It was actually all Sean and Ileana, so shout out to Ileana and shout out to Sean. I like having our booth right next to Goozee Pins. I've always done this. In the very beginning, my booth was at the very end of Library Walk and it didn't have that much motion there. But ever since we got moved next to Goozee Pins, the contrast between the pink and the mid green, I think it's pretty good. A lot of people that come up to the booth, they remember it, they recognize it. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about the numbers today. While there are still going to be a couple more sales, numbers might fluctuate just a tad, but nothing too much, nothing too drastic. So we're reading off the numbers right now at 5:19 p.m. We did make slightly more sales on Thursday than Tuesday. We're at 71 sales, but the AOV is slightly lower, 13.21. We did not make as much as the other 3 days. That is as expected though. Thursday and Friday are definitely usually going to be a little slower than the first 3 days. But granted, we did show up a little later, so I'm guessing that if we were here an hour early, might have been 100 or maybe a few more than what it currently is. In terms of the individual items that sold, we have 44 keychains sold on Thursday so far. 2 sticker sheets, a very, very small amount. 3 large prints, none of the mini prints. Again, super shocking that those aren't moving. And then 7 enamel pins. And a whole lot of stickers. Not bad on the numbers. I'm a little tired of talking right now. It does hurt my throat, so I have to drink some water. That is something that can be compromised, you know, when you're talking a lot at a show, when you're conducting a lot of orders and sales. You don't want your throat to hurt if you're sick, and I am slightly sick, so it's definitely good that I didn't do a whole lot of talking today. And again, thank you to Ileana and Sean for doing most of it, because I probably would have died had I been the one to mainly do all the talking. That's the end of day 4. We'll recap what the numbers look like on day 5 and how much of each thing sold. Welcome back. It is Friday, the last day. Still a little sick. Goozee Pins has left us, and so we are making all the sticker sales. No competition today. So it's just us, and we're using the coded spreadsheet today. So far we've had 30 sales. It's currently 12 actually, so it is noon. And we have had quite a bit of people come up. More so than I'm used to because Goozee is not here. So I think we might actually have the most sales today, but not everyone's buying an extraordinary amount because that usually happens on Monday and Tuesday. The people are flowing in very consistently. We're just about to have another sale right now. Ileana is helping us do that. Shout out to her. She's doing mad work. Just ate my breakfast, which was some snacks, and slowly got the day started. Right before the 9:50 a.m. class rush, I'm joined by the OG squad at UCSD. Ileana was the first to show up.
I'm so hungry.
And then Hallie is here crocheting in the back. She's going intense mode right now.
I'm like the middle of making a patchwork sweater that I wanted to buy off of Etsy, but then I realized I could just make it myself.
And then Sean just returned with the food. He brought some lunch for us. And especially because we're feeling slightly under the weather, the soup is going to be really efficient. On top of the soup, I've been using this tissue box extremely heavily. We are about to unpack the food and get ready to gobble. This chicken pesto is so good. UCSD just has the best food at Price Center. Everything I've gotten this week, the poke to this panini sandwich, Tapioca Express, popcorn chicken, everything is so good here. And they don't have any dining halls out here, so they have to have good a la carte food. Oh my goodness, guys. My mask is off. But the reason is just because I was napping and I started drooling in the mask. I know, TMI, I'm sorry. To remedy our sickness, Sean has got me one of these. No, it's not a tampon. Nasal inhalers. To my surprise, the Friday numbers are adding up to be slightly better than some of the other days. Actually, in fact, it already has surpassed at least Monday and Thursday. So it's on the way to actually being the best days so far this week. And probably not by much, but the fact that it could be better, and obviously there's a few reasons for that. Friday, less competition, less vendors, not as many people walking around. I'm not right next to Goozee Pins, so I don't have a direct competitor. Not as many people walking around Library Walk, but for the amount of foot traffic, there's actually a good amount of customers. People coming back to buy things, people finishing up their last minute purchases at the end of the week, a few other things like that. And so there are a couple reasons for why. I am surprised though. That's like really shocking that today is adding up to be the best day. That's not something I expected. A little under 2 hours left possible for sales. I wasn't doing a whole lot of sales. As I said, I took a nap in the wagon actually, which is where Ileana is taking a nap. So I'll check in with you guys at the end of the event and give you an update because I did create some tables for the end of the week so we can have a comparison. I'll show them on the screen as well. I'm really excited about this.
Oh, how sick are you?
I'm a little better than I was before. I think the coldness doesn't help.
I know.
The fact that the whole week was slightly cold, I feel like it brings down the mood and not as many people are shopping around.
Right. I literally have a feeling that when it's sunny out, when all of my jewelry is like bling bling, a lot more people will come and stuff. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, what day was the best one for you? Now that it's pretty much over.
So far, Tuesday.
Oh, okay. How would you compare it to the other show in fall?
This show probably sales-wise 1/3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like about half or 1/3 of what it
Yeah.
was, somewhere in that range compared to fall.
Yeah, the vibe is very different. Aside from the weather, I think either they have already bought from us before, no longer interested in buying more, or they don't have enough money to spend.
Yeah, if they've already bought from you before, especially with larger price items, higher price items, they're more likely to pass up on your booth. They might recommend you. That's good. Good word of mouth still, but like
Yeah.
with stickers, someone can come back to the booth and purchase again because it's such a small price.
Yeah, especially when you have like more designs.
Well, last time you did say that your phone charms are the best sellers, so you made a lot more of them.
I
Is
know.
that the case this one time as well?
Like I sold out of the charms last time, so I made like I think 40 or 50 of them for this show, and I probably sold 10.
Oh no!
I don't know
Huge
why.
difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I see a lot of people looking at it, but they're not buying. I've also heard like passerby saying, "Oh, I have that in my car," or "Oh, I have that on my Christmas tree."
Oh wow.
So probably like the ones who really want to buy it already bought it.
How do you feel like being around certain neighbors has affected your sales in the show? You know, last time you were in what would people would consider a much better location because you were by the fountain and a lot more people were passing by, but this time you were next to me, sticker booth, and then also clothing. So the price range is very different.
I mean, obviously, like I made more last time, but I also know that both factors are different, the location and the time. So
Yeah.
I can't tell if it's because
I see.
how much the location difference affected my sales.
That's a good point.
But I do really enjoy have been in the booth next to my friends. You know, having people to help me watch my booth when I'm gone, like or buy me food, even like feed me home cooked meals. You know, that's really nice. Yeah, and that adds up to the whole experience. Like because I vend so much, it's like part of my daily life. So not just the sales that affect how well I think a show is, but also like you know the whole experience, like being able to talk to my neighbors, like having fun while sitting here. Like that's also very important.
I completely agree with that. I think, well, one, it is hard to test whether, you know, if you do the same show, one was better than the other if there's multiple control groups in this. But I do agree, like the experience of the event matters a lot. I would not choose to be in a better location by foot traffic if I could choose to be next to Goozee Pins and another friend. You know, I love being able to walk a few feet away and then chat.
Especially when the show is 5 day long. Like you're like I remember last time just like really sitting by myself for 5 days, not being able to talk to anyone.
It's not fun.
Yeah, it's not very fun.
Well, that's all I have to ask. I feel like that was pretty good information. Shout out. Thank you. Thank you, Julie of Kemi Art, for letting us know her insight about how the show went.
Thank
day
you.
by
Thank
day.
you for inviting me on camera. And thanks for sharing the food and laughter with me.
It is just about to be 5 o'clock, so we are going to do some packing up, cue some time lapses of me going crazy. We just finished packing up everything in the back here, and so now we're just gonna go to the car, pack everything into the car, and then I'll give you guys an outro where I review some of the details from this event. Big shout out to the friends who helped this week. We'll see them at future UCSD fairs, except for Sean, he's graduating, so everybody say happy graduation to Sean. He's been a great service to the stickerzoo team. Shout out to Sean.
Thanks, I guess. Hopefully I see you one more year, but just in San Diego. Thanks for supporting stickerzoodesigns, and see you at the next event, I guess.
Holly and Ileana. They've been a great service this week as well. You guys might see them at a future event.
Oh yeah, I got at least one more year, so you'll be seeing me again. I got 2, so you know I'm probably gonna be here a lot more often than you think I would be.
I don't know if you guys can see that, but welcome to the end segment of Zookie's University. Thank you for enrolling in the class. I'm Professor Zoo here. Today I'm going to be going over a couple charts of how the week went at UCSD. As you can see, I printed them out. Well, we have 3 different charts right here, and then we also have a little spreadsheet on the bottom that shows us some of the specific numbers that we added up and tallied at the end of the day of each show. I'm gonna be using this little pointer thing I got from Amazon. It's so cool, and it's mint green. Unexpected to what I thought the show was going to go. You know, normally it trends down throughout the week. Surprisingly, it was trending up. I mean, minus Tuesday and Thursday. Also, ignore the fact that for whatever reason, Friday is not showing the freaking number of sales or the fact that it says it's Friday, but this last column, it's supposed to be Friday. But yeah, as you can see, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they typically have more sales because, you know, as we mentioned before, every 50 minutes there are passing periods, so people come out of class and there are more frequent waves of people. So that's why I'm guessing there are more sales, but surprisingly, it went up throughout the week. Normally it goes down from what I've seen at previous vendor fairs, which is really surprising to me. And then Tuesday and Thursday, a little lower than the other days. I do think that Friday had the most sales because Goozee Pins wasn't there, so that allowed us to make more sales since people didn't have another sticker shop to go to. We're gonna move down a little bit and go to the numbers we actually earned this week, which is really surprising. Originally, I wasn't going to show this, but you know, for clarity's sakes, for also to make a bar graph and make it a little more clear, especially because this video is about the statistics, I figured it might be important, so we're gonna sacrifice a little bit of our transparency here. And also, to preface, total revenue does not mean that's all the money that I get. Obviously, there is the cost of the show, gas expenses, the cost of the goods, tax, and everything else. For this number, I actually took out the sales tax because that isn't anything that is part of our revenue for Stickerzoo. So this is that number minus sales tax. This is just the flat number that you'll see that Stickerzoo earned through all the products sold, but that doesn't mean that is what we are taking home each day. All those disclaimers aside, these are the numbers. We're gonna look a little bit closer at them. As you can see, surprisingly, Friday was the best day. We had a little over 1,300 earned. And then Thursday was the slowest day. Now, there are probably a couple factors. As I mentioned, we showed up a little later on Thursday and we did stay the longest probably on Friday and Monday. That might play into effect on these specific numbers, but also the advertising on social media as well. It trended upward, minus Thursday, surprisingly. Normally it trends downward, but something that I think was notable is the fact that Tuesday has a pretty good number despite having the lowest amount of sales. If we look back up here, it only had a total of 64 sales, but it did have in the middle of the week, at least in terms of earnings. I do remember that one of the reasons is because one of the sales made was someone who bought over $100 worth of goods because they were a big supporter. So that probably contributes to it. And so we're gonna move down a little bit more to the specifics of the items sold. As you guys would expect, marked in blue over here, stickers are the highest selling item. So we had a line trend that follows pretty similar to the number of sales. It goes down and then back up and then down and then back up again. Most stickers were sold on Monday, and then the fewest were sold on Tuesday. Obviously, because the stickers are the lowest cost items, that's probably why they're selling the most, but then we compare it to everything else. It's not, okay, well, we're cooked. Keychains, you know, we had a decent amount sell throughout the week, and then the most sold on Friday, so that definitely contributed to why Friday had the highest number. I'm guessing some people just waited on whether they actually wanted a keychain, and then at the end of the week, they came back and bought some more. Few number of enamel pin sales throughout the week, the most on Tuesday, 18 of them, and then throughout the rest of the week, sparse number of sales here and there. Surprisingly, even only with 4 options, the enamel pins were selling better than the prints, which I had more options of. We had larger prints and mini prints, which you can barely even see their line at the bottom here. So those are not really top sellers for me. Spreadsheet, it just tallies up all the numbers here. If you guys want to take a closer look at this, you can. Average order value throughout the week. Again, we want to mention Tuesday, which had an AOV of 19, and that is because of that one person who ordered a huge amount, which definitely boosted that number. But otherwise, throughout the rest of the week, it hovered around $13. So that tends to be what my AOV is. I'm not super surprised. That's consistent with a lot of other shows. At the end of the day, it depends on the number of sales, and that will contribute to how much the total revenue is. The other reason I ended up sharing the total revenue is because technically if I share the AOV and I share the sales in each of the recaps, you guys could probably figure it out. So like, you know, there's no difference. Like, I might as well, you know, freaking show it. Anyway, short lesson today. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to this week of how much we sold at UCSD in a week of vending. If you would like to tune into other vlogs as well, where we talk about how the show is going, or whatever side quest the title tells you, please do. There are a lot of videos now on this channel. I recently just started posting all the shorts I normally post on TikTok and Instagram. Originally didn't because I didn't think that people would watch them, but surprisingly the last couple have gotten a good amount of views. So I am planning to make a recap video on how posting weekly has affected my channel, how just starting to post shorts has affected some of the growth on the channel as well. I appreciate everyone who has subbed and tuned into the channel from the shorts. Really surprising, as I've mentioned. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stick around for next week for another weekly episode where we're going to be building one of the pegboards that you guys have so desperately been asking for from the self-serve video. We're going to make another one of these pegboards. Subscribe and put on the freaking notification bell so you guys can know when that video goes up next Tuesday. I'll see you guys later.